Hey guys, Jessie here from Tonkadale, and today we are talking about repotting. As you may have noticed, the days are starting to get a little bit longer, and what you're going to see in your plant world is some new emerging growth. You're going to see your plants perk up a little bit as they receive more sun, and that's a great time to plan for repotting. But here are a few tips to get you started. A really common question that we get in the greenhouse is, when should I repot my plant? There are a few general guidelines, but there aren't any hard and fast rules about when to repot your plant. Many of the plants that you purchase in the greenhouse will be perfectly happy living in their grower's pot for several months. The biggest indication that your plant needs to be repotted is by looking at the root zone. What we can see here is the roots are completely taking over the pot. When this happens, there is less soil mass and soil structure to hold water. So as you're watering, you'll notice water quickly drains out the bottom of the pot, and you'll have to give your plant several soakings before moisture is retained. Check out this gigantum I have over here, Philodendron gigantum. It's got roots for days. We can see it's pot tight. It doesn't want to let go. This one's ready to repot. Let's get those, loosen up those roots, get it out of the pot. Look at those yummy roots. Holy kitty cats. So what size pot do you need? Look at your existing container. This is about a 10-inch in diameter, and go 1 or 2 pot sizes above what it's currently in. So with the 10-inch pot, we're gonna move up into a 12-inch container. When you select a pot, you wanna make sure you have a drain hole. If your pot doesn't have a drain hole, it's perfectly acceptable to leave it in the grower pot or bump it up one size in a grower pot and simply drop it into the container. That way you can take it out, water it at the sink, and return it to the container after it's dripped through. We have several examples of containers with good drainage. This is the dragon container. It's really awesome because it has this like natural mossy aged finish, and saucers are available to match, which is amazing. This comes in a couple of different sizes and styles. This one's great because it does have a drain hole with an attached saucer, and then you can always go with the traditional terracotta. For beginners, terracotta is a great choice because it does allow for the roots to breathe. Excess water also evaporates through the porous finish, and that gives you a little bit extra insurance if you're prone to overwatering. When choosing terracotta, I like to look for the saucers that are glazed on the inside. That way water doesn't wick through the terracotta. You can also grab a surface sealer and seal any terracotta pots you might come across. For orchids are epiphytes, and so their roots are always exposed to the air when they're growing on the sides of trees and branches. So they like to have a pot with holes in the side. And you can see this orchid's crazy roots are going all over the place. It's really going to appreciate being able to breathe. Plus, the soil for an orchid is really barky, so you don't have to worry about it running out the sides of the pot. When you're ready to repot, it's important to choose the best potting soil for your plant. Most plants are going to love the all-purpose organic potting soil by Espoma. We also have some specialty mixes. There's the cactus mix that works great for cactus, succulents, palms, bromeliads, etc. The orchid mix, which is obviously great for orchids. Look at how chunky that is. Now you can also create your own mixtures. A couple of weeks ago, we did an aeroid potting mix, so go on and check out that video if you'd like to see how we mix up some of our own soils. If you've never repotted a plant, it can be kind of intimidating. I think beginners a lot of times are worried about hurting the plant or injuring the plant. You know what, if you have a nice healthy plant, they're very resilient and they're going to love getting out of their root bound pot, having a little root massage before you place them in their new home. So this gigantum, you can see the roots are really healthy because they're nice and white. You can see the root hairs, which are just tiny little offshoots off the root. And there's just not a lot of extra potting media here, but let's wake up these roots. This plant is in really great health. We have some new leaves emerging as well, which is a good sign. So I have my aeroid mixture all ready to go. I'm going to dump just enough in so that when I place the root ball of the plant in the container, the top of the root ball is just about an inch below the rim of the pot. And then I've already untangled all those roots and just gently set it in. And don't worry about all these. These are the aerial roots. Philodendrons generally throw out those aerial roots because they like to attach a moss pole or a wooden stake, something like that. Some of these look a little bit kind of dried out, so I'm going to give them a little prune to freshen things up. It's kind of like, you know, when you get your hair cut, everything just feels fresh and new. All we really need to do next is backfill. I kind of do go down, tamp around the edges. This looks so good. I'm gonna be so happy. Some of that loose soil will kind of settle in. The one thing that I often see that can be a problem when transplanting is creating a soil volcano. Now that's when the top of the root ball and the soil mounds higher than the rim of the pot, which creates just this soil volcano when you first water. Soil everywhere, drains out of the pot. If the root ball is sticking out over the surface of the soil or over the surface of the pot, it's going to dry out much too quickly. So you do want to make sure that it's, you know, a little bit below the rim of the pot and covered with the fresh soil. And then you're like, now what do I do? This thing is crazy. Well, guess what? We have a video for that. So check out our moss pole video to see how you would stake up this silly guy. Quickie tutorial, I would just shove a bamboo stake in there. This is a little wibbly, so I do have some stretchy tie tape, one of our favorites for staking up plants. It's nice because this tie tape is not going to cut into the vascular system of the plant, but it will hold it in place. So I'm just going to give it a little tie like that, and then once it straightens out, we can tie it again. So as you can see, this plant does have some work to do, but it is ready to go. The growing season is upon us. We have fresh soil, which will add some organic nutrition to the plant's root zone. Some really bright light is going to get it pointed in the right direction, and then we'll have a beautiful plant going into the next several months. Help me. Help me put it on the saucer. Exit stage left. So the question always arises, what if I find a pot that I love, but it doesn't have a drain hole? Well, if you're shopping at Tonkadale, we are happy to drill drain holes for you. Just ask us. It's complimentary. I would suggest if the pot is glazed on the inside, that's a great pot to use as a pot cover or a cache pot, where you're simply setting your potted plant inside the container, watering it at the sink, and returning it to the container. If you do drill a hole, do consider you will need to find a saucer or some other water catching device. Repotting orchids. Now this can be a little intimidating because they're just so delicate and beautiful. You'll need to repot orchids about once a year. The best time to repot orchids is after they bloom. If you repot while they're developing their buds or while blooming, that can disrupt the bloom cycle and those blooms can dehisce and fall off. Good signs that your orchid needs to be repotted. You have some dead or damaged roots. The leaves start to yellow. If your orchid is getting older in age, you might have an orchid pup coming off the side. That would be an indication that it's time to repot, or repot immediately after flowering. When these blooms fade and fall off, you'll cut back the orchid stem back to its base, and then you're going to use the orchid potting mix, which is really nice and barky. I'm not going to replant this orchid right now because I don't want to risk losing those blooms, but I just want to show you how you might take it out of the pot. It's really neat to look at orchid roots. So you can see in there it's kind of packed with some sphagnum moss and the roots are curling all around. So you could loosen up this root structure, put in a layer of the orchid bark, work it in, and then backfill and water it thoroughly. As always, send us your houseplant repotting questions. We'll be right there with you every step of the way. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at Tonkadale.